During Reading Week, our group had the opportunity to drive to Hiawatha First Nation. Despite the rain, it was a beautiful drive seeing all the autumn colors. We visited Wigwa's Craft Supplies and Gifts, where we had the honor of meeting and speaking with Bright Light woman Kim Muskrat about Indigenous medicine and healing practices.
Waseakwe Dishnakos, Hiawatha Doljaba, Minak Dodum, Mississauga, Kwe, and Dow. My name is Waseakwe, which means bright light woman in our language. It is told to us that we must know our names before we pass, because when the Creator calls, He's going to call us by our name and not by our English name. My English name is Kim Muskrat. I'm from Hiawatha First Nation, and I am Turtle Clan. And we tell people our clans because back when, before the settlers came, we didn't have last names. They gave us last names. So my last name, Muskrat, in our language is Jushk. So we didn't have last names. So they gave us last names. And if we could tell them what Jushk was, like we would say, the rat in the water, they would say, oh, the muskrat. So that's what they would give us. When we went from community to community, we had to know who the clans were because that was family. So if I met another Turtle Clan, say in Scugog, I knew that Turtle Clan was my family. So we always have to know who our clans are. We have to know who our people are. So if you ever hear anybody talking and they'll say, oh, where are you from? And you say Hiawatha. Well, who's your people? They want to know who your people are. They want to know who your people are. So your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents. And that verifies to them that you are who you say you are, right? That's exactly why they ask. And then they might know who your people are. And a lot of people come in and say, I don't know my clan. Well, you need to research that clan. You have to know who your clan is. You can't marry within your clan. Just like you couldn't marry your brother or sister or cousin, right? Same thing, you cannot marry within your clan. So I have been learning medicines pretty well most of my life. My grandmother and my great-grandmother and my great-great-grandmother were all medicine women. So when I was a young girl, my grandmother would say, go out and pick this, or go get this, or go get that. So I would go out and I would pick it for her. If somebody was sick, they would come to her. My great-great-grandmother, which would be her grandmother, was well known. She was Granny Putta. She was well known for her medicines, all in the communities. She would walk to Scugog if a baby was being born, and she would go over there and she would help with that baby. She would go to Alderville by Lake for medicines. She would take medicines. She was well known in all the communities around this area, because she was a medicine woman and she was a good medicine woman. And she helped thousands of babies into the world, and she helped thousands of people pass into the spirit world. So Granny Padash was a well-known medicine person. So it's handed down. So my grandmother would tell me what medicines to pick. And as a little girl, I wasn't allowed to say anything because my grandmother was so afraid they would come and take us away. So that was her biggest fear. My dad and her used to speak the language. But when us kids were around, that language wasn't spoken. We spoke English because she was afraid they would come take us. At school, we weren't allowed to talk about it. We weren't allowed to speak our language because my grandmother's biggest fear was we would be taken. So that's so, so sad. She told me stories about hiding my dad and my uncle in barns, sheds, stuff like that, so that the residential schools wouldn't come take them, right? So anyhow, when I was getting older, I hated medicine time, which was the fall. Just hated. And in the spring, early spring, there's some medicines that we can pick. Winter, there's very few, but there are some. So on weekends, it would be medicine time, and I hated it. And as we got older, I started to rebel against those. Say, I'm not going. Why can't somebody else go? There's other cousins. Why can't they go? And one day she said, because this is your job. This is what you have to do. This is what the Creator put you here for. Oh, okay. So as I got older, I didn't do it as much with her. And she got older too. So she didn't go out as much into the into the woods and stuff. But if she needed something, she would say, go pick some hemlock, or go get this for me, or go get that for me. So, and then I moved away, and, you just kind of forget about your medicines. And everybody always, how they always say, if you could have one day with somebody, who would it be? And it would be my grandmother. So I could soak up some more of that knowledge, because I really lost a lot of that knowledge of those medicines. Like, we have our normal medicines, our white sage for smudging. We have our sweetgrass. We have our cedar, and we have our tobacco. Those are our 4 medicines. And the first medicine that Creator gave us was tobacco, and it's sima. And that literally means what comes first. It literally means what comes first. So if you came to me and like you did today, and you said, can you do this, or can you do that? When that sum touches my hand, from your hand to my hand, that's a contract. I have agreed to do that. I can't break that contract unless I become really, really sick or something dire happens. But once it touches my hand, my left hand, that's it. I've signed a contract with you, and I do that work, whatever it is you've asked of me. So people so readily put out their hand and take it, and then they don't do what they're supposed to do. That's not our way. And they should stop doing that. We have a lot of young people that do that. They'll be like, yeah, I'll take the tobacco. And then 2 days later, they're like, yeah, no, I don't want to do it. You've broke that contract. You've broke your word. Don't do that. Just basically don't do that. If you're going to take it, make sure you can do it. And I always say, let me think. And I think for a bit. Do I have anything else? Am I okay to do it that day? And then I'll come to you and say, okay, I'll take the tobacco, or you know what, I'm really, really sorry. I'm unavailable that day, or I can't do it that day. So with sage, all our medicines are traditional. Now, I know a lot of people that use the cigarette tobacco, we have real tobacco. We use real tobacco. And that's, we use the real tobacco. Same with our sweetgrass. It's here. It's harvested here on my property. There's I have it actually everywhere. When I run out of room in one spot, I'll move it to the other. What we normally burn when we smudge ourselves is the sage. And there's white sage, or buffalo sage. There's grandmother's sage, or Nokomis sage. And that's stuff that we grow here in our ditch. The white sage I get from out west, because it doesn't grow here. So I have a friend out west. She has a hard time getting bearberries, so I'll trade with her. And normally we'll trade within our communities. We'll trade our medicines. I'm sure that everybody knows that white sage is a purifier. It brings in the good stuff, I guess, the good feelings, and takes out the bad stuff. Sweetgrass, I have a lot of people that come to me and say, there's just something in my house that's not right. I don't feel comfortable in my own home, or I don't know what's going on in my house. Just lately, I don't know. It gives me I'm just not comfortable. So this is called the hair of Mother Earth. And if you take sweetgrass, and one little strand you can break, and it's so easy to break. If you take it and braid it, 21 pieces of sweetgrass is braided, you can't break it. And it's called the warrior medicine as well, because of the strength, and it holds. I will tell them, I want you to smudge with this. I want you to smudge your doors, your windows, all around them. And then I want you to take what's left over and hang it above your main door. And it will help with that negativity coming into your home. And I want you to do this for 7 days for each strand. 7 days I want you to do this. If you still feel that you're not comfortable in your home, or something's just not right, come back and I'll come up and I'll do that smudging for you. We know that when people come into our homes, a lot come in with negativity. And they don't mean to. I mean, it's just they carry it. You carry it from work. You walk through your front door at the end of the day, and you've just got like heavy shoulders. You need to smudge. You really, really need to smudge. Cedar. If you're having a bad day, stick your feet in some cedar, in some warm cedar bath or a foot bath. That's going to take that negativity, all that stress that's sitting on you, and take it out. My biggest thing to do is go sit by a tree, put my back against the tree, take off my socks and shoes and put my feet right firm on the ground. Just sit there and let it go. Let it go. I worked at Serpent Mounds Historical Site. It's a burial site, a sacred burial site. Have you ever been there? It's not far from here. It's absolutely beautiful. So it's a sacred burial ground, and there's mounds. I worked there for the longest time, and I would just go up and sit with those ancestors and lay on the mounds and just, just take that bad energy away. So we have a lot of medicines, and I don't know what else I can tell you about our medicines. Like they bring in energy, they bring in positive energy, and they take out bad energy. When COVID was really, really bad, when it first started, I couldn't keep sage in the store because sage is also a bacterial killer. So it was killing that germ in the homes. And a lot of people were using it in the wintertime when colds and flus and all that are so readily, because cedar, when you look at a medicine, I don't have one here. When you look at a medicine and you hold up a cedar needle, you look at it, and this is how my grandmother taught me. I would say, I don't know what medicine to use. And she'd say, sit with it, child, and look at it. Where is it in your body? So if you look at a cedar leaf, it looks like lungs, looks like the respiratory. So you know that that's good for respiratory. If you look at a strawberry, heart, a tomato, heart, like look at the medicine and think, okay, where in my body would that medicine be helpful? Old man's beard, and that's that fuzzy stuff that hangs from pine trees. It's called old man's beard, and that looks like respiratory. So think about where that medicine would be good. Bloodroot, blood plant that grows in the ground. If you pull it up, it's a long vein like this. It's a long root, and you make that into tea. That's for your blood. That's for your arteries to clean out all that blood, take out all that bad blood, and give you good blood. So if you look at things, you'll think of, okay, so where in my body, if you know the human body, would that be good for those medicines? So cedar, what I do is the perfect time right now is to harvest cedar before it starts to go to sleep, and never ever harvest medicine after 3 p.m. After 3 p.m. our medicines go to sleep. This is how I was taught. Our medicines go to sleep. That's when the sun is highest in the sky, and then it starts to decline as the time goes on, right? So it goes up. At 3 o'clock, it's highest in the sky, and then it goes down. For harvest, if there's a snake around, because that snake is protecting that medicine for a reason, whether that medicine has been compromised by chemicals or whether or not it's not ready to be picked. If there's a snake around, it's protecting that medicine for a reason. Go someplace else. We're also taught that we never over-harvest. So we only take what we need. Only take what we need, and leave the rest for the next 7 generations with the person coming behind you that's going to need that medicine. I don't pick medicine for people anymore. I will take them out. I will tell them what they need, because you need to tell that medicine why you're picking it or why you're harvesting it. It needs to hear from you. And if the person that you're harvesting for can't come out because of illness or whatever, and they're out harvesting for them, then that's okay. But now I want people to know those medicines, and that's the best way I have to teach them. That's the best way I have to teach them, is I'll say to them, you need to go. I will go with you, but you need to harvest that medicine. You need to tell that medicine why. And never ever take from Mother Earth without giving back. Whether it's tobacco, juniper berries, juniper plants. Juniper berries are great for toothaches. Until you can get to the dentist, it's kind of like, what is that? Orajel. It's kind of like Orajel. You bite on the berry, it will help with that toothache. Junipers love pennies. Copper. They love copper. So I always put down copper when I'm doing juniper berries. always put down copper. Yes. So getting back to, see, I go all over. I'm like a squirrel. So right now is the perfect time to harvest our cedar. And we're going to use it all through the winter. We use it in teas. We use it in baths. I simmer it on the back of the stove when people come over. And they say, oh, your house smells like cedar. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you put it in there for air? No, because you're bringing germs into my house, and I have a very sick husband. So that's cedar simmering, and you do this when you have children in school as well. Oh dear, because they bring home everything. People's socks, other people's shoes, other people's lunches. They bring it all home. So you just simmer that on the back of the stove for the day, and it's going to kill those germs coming into your home. And not only that, it does smell amazing through your house, but that smell is killing those cold germs and all those things that we're bringing into our home. So cedar is one of the things. I make tea, and I put it in little baggies, a cup of in a baggie. I let it cool, and then I smoosh it down, take the air out, lay it in the freezer. So I have like 50 of them on top of one another. So when people come and say, oh, I got a cold in my chest, I can't get it out, I'll pull out one of those and say, let it thaw, put it in a cup, put it in the microwave for, however long, however hot you want it, and drink it. So it's one of those good medicines that you have all year long. Even when it's sleeping during the winter, you can still have it in your house. And I'll take one out and I'll throw it on the back of the stove and let it simmer for the day. And then drink it at the end of the day if there's any. And I keep adding a little bit of water as it simmers, because you lose water. So it's normally a cup of cedar needles to 4 cups of water. So I take it in, I clean it all up, I wash it off, and then I'll boil a great big pot of it, let it simmer, and then I'll start making my cedar teas for the freezer and baths and stuff like that. So that's a good one to have throughout winter. We have a lot of teas here, and they all do something different. Some are growing here. Some of the roots are growing here. Some of the leaves are growing here. Some of the medicines are growing here, and some I trade. We cannot, for some reason, grow bearberry here, but Alderville does. So I'll trade with Alderville for some bearberries. We just don't have the sandy, rocky soil that they have. And they have a beautiful Oaks of Savannah setup over there. It's not a setup, it's like woods and woods and woods. And you can walk through there and pick thousands of medicines. Thousands of medicines in the ditch. Thousands of medicines. And there's so many medicines that we would be here for days and days and days just talking about one medicine and what that one medicine can do. We could talk about teas and what all those teas do. If you have, and I find this is really good, if you have a child that bounces and doesn't rest well at night, and all kids love to have tea with mom or granny. They all love to have a tea. Put a little bit of rose petal in that tea. And it's going to calm them down. Rose petal calms you down. Same with lavender. Lavender will calm you down. But they can eat the rose petals if they want. They're not harmful. So I always say it that, like I have a grandson that's like, it's a great grandson, and he just bounces. Rose petals. And then eat them. And you can mix them with other teas, but never ever put sugar. Use honey or maple syrup. Sugars breaks down our medicine properties. Maple syrup and honey doesn't break those medicines down inside our teas. So I always say, well, put a little bit of honey in there, and kids love that. Have a little cup of tea with me. They love that. They think they're growing up, right? Yeah. You let it cool a little bit, and they drink it. I always use either Earl Grey or Orange Pekoe, and then I put the rose petals in one of those little strainer balls, and they can play with it. And I'll say, why don't you eat the petals after? They're really good. And I'll start eating them, and they'll start eating them. So it's medicines like that are ready. Like, we have them here. We have wild roses that grow everywhere. I don't know if you guys know jewelweed. So it grows where there's water. So it grows in the ditches, and it grows along the banks of the water. And they call them touch-me-nots or snap or dragons. Yeah, they're orange flower.
Yeah.
They're one of the best things for poison ivy.
Really?
Yes. So you take the stem, you open it up with your thumb, and you pat it on your poison ivy. Bee bites, stink bites, bug bites, anything that itches like that, that plant is one of the best plants we have around. So it's jewelweed. We call it jewelweed. Other people call it touch-me-nots or dragon heads or whatever. It's an orange little flower. That's amazing. And that would have been harvested about a month and a half ago to 2 months ago. We harvest some of those. I don't harvest as much as I used to. I try to get out, but I'm getting old. I don't have, and I don't have the time. I have Tom at home, and I just don't have the time to get out when I want to get out anymore. My kids used to be afraid for me because I'd take my ladder and my baskets and I'd be walking out to the woods, and they're like, "Mom, where are you going?" Out to harvest. Chaga, claim to fame. So chaga is a mushroom or a fungus. Some call it mushroom, some call it fungus. Grows on a birch tree. And it's maybe 1 in 1,000 birch trees will have this. Its claim to fame is cancer. It helps kill the cancer cells and diabetes. Yeah. The Asians will look for that because they understand the high property in that chaga. And a lot of people break it down. Let me see if I can find some. So it grows in a great big mushroom or people call it fungus. It depends. So this is what it looks like when you break it all down. You have to take a hammer and a flathead screwdriver and break it all down. A lot of people will make it into like a powder. What a waste. What a waste, because you can use this much chaga for about 4 teas. But if you break it down to a powder, yes, you get strong medicine, but it's gone. Within minutes, it's gone. As soon as you put that in hot water, that chaga is gone. So I always tell people, fill a half of the ball of a tea strainer, with chaga. Make your tea however strength you want it, like however you drink your tea. I drink my tea strong, so I make it strong. Take it out of the water, put it on paper towel and let it dry, and keep using that over and over till there's no more color. And it's very, very weak. And you like, this will last forever, right? So its claim to fame is cancer. If you get it quick enough, I know a lot of people that had cancer, and some have used the Western medicine and some have used our medicine. And the one that used the Western medicine passed. The one that used our medicine survived. Early stages of cancer, not stage 4 or something like that, because then it's just
everywhere.
So
you use that without chemo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, talk to your doctor too. Always, because people say, "Oh, use the natural medicine; it's great," but it's not. If you're allergic to it.
Yeah.
So red willow is a perfect one. Red willow is aspirin. It's exactly what red willow is aspirin. If you're allergic to aspirin, you wouldn't use red willow. I have bear fat and bear fat is one of our great medicines for owies and sore muscles and anything to do on the skin. So, and then I make oils with it for pain. So you can have it just 100% bear fat, or you can take the one with the oils in it for pain. I always tell people, if you're allergic to aspirin, you don't want this. Don't take this. Because you can still have allergy reactions to our medicines.
You said that one grows on birch trees?
I'm
allergic to birch tree pollen.
See, so you could never take this.
No.
You could never take this. So I always tell people, they'll say, "Okay, Kim, how many mugs should I have?" And I say, whoa, I want you to do a little bit. If you have a reaction, don't do it anymore. Well, I can have a reaction to natural medicines. Of course you can. Where do you think medicines are made from? They're made from our plants. A lot of natives, I've been asked many times to sit down with doctors and talk to doctors about our medicines. A lot of natives don't want to do that because they introduced them to red willow, and look what happened. A lot of people don't want to be with the pharmaceutical people because they take our medicines and they make money from it
Look
over and
at-
over.
look at
We
Buckley's.
yes, we
Yep.
sell medicines, but I'm not selling you the medicine. I'm selling you the container. I'm selling you my time because it takes a lot of time to go out and harvest. You aren't paying for those medicines. Unfortunately, hydro won't take. And I've asked. I have literally asked. I said to the lady, "Look, I don't have enough for my hydro bill," and this was like 30 years ago. How about I give you this medicine and you give me my hydro? And she's like, "What? What are you talking about?" Well, years ago we used to trade. We can't do that anymore. And a lot of people get mad because we sell medicines, but I'm not selling you the medicine. I'm selling you my time. I am worth $14 an hour as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
No, for
absolutely.
You know, and that's whatever minimum wage
for
is
sure,
now.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I am worth that. Am I not worth that? I say to them, because if you want this medicine, you can come out and harvest it by all means. Please come out and harvest it, and you can have it for free. Well, I need a bag. Oh, that's 5 cents. Well, I need a container. Oh, that's another. Like, these containers are not cheap.
Well, not to mention, some people are going to come out and be like, "This is my problem. What medicines do you suggest?" That alone is
Yes.
That's your time.
That knowledge is worth
But
a lot.
people don't get that. They put you down if you sell medicines. It's not the medicines. It's my time for harvesting. I had a lady come out and she said, "I want some sweetgrass. Is it okay if I harvest some?" I said, "Absolutely. Go ahead." She was back in here 10 minutes later and said, "Okay, I'll take a couple breaks." It's not so fun, is it? It's a lot of work. And people don't understand that it's a lot of work. In the fall, I open up my ditches to people because it's just overrun. Sometimes I haven't had a big harvest. I normally get 3 or 4 harvests with my sage. I didn't get as many last year. So I'll say to people, "Go ahead, harvest all you want." They do a couple and they're like, "Okay, I'm done." You know, so you're not harvesting, you're not charging for the medicine, you're charging for your time to harvest those medicines so that they can have them. You know, you pay for Tylenol, why wouldn't you pay for
Absolutely.
for red willow? So when I first started out, I really had a hard time with charging, and one of the elders said to me, "You're not charging for your medicine, Kim. You're charging for your time, and you're worth that time."
Yeah.
I said, "I guess I didn't look at it that way." He said, "You're out there for 6 and 7 hours harvesting, and you're getting minimum wage. So what's wrong with that? You're asking the person to pay your wage. That's all you're asking for."
I mean, look how much the pharmaceutical companies are worth.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I have to remember that, because sometimes I get a little guilt going on. So what else do you need? Mullein. Mullein right now for colds and bronchitis. And mullein is that tall plant with an orange or with a yellow cone on top of it that you see growing around water and stuff. It's one of our ones. Juniper berry, hibiscus. Everybody has hibiscus somewhere. Red clover grows on the side of the road. That is time consuming. It's red clover. Try getting like 1,000 of those just to make one small tea. Again, so this is our bear fat, and I never, when I get bear fat, I always say female or male bear. And they'll say male. Okay. If it's female bear, I won't touch the fat. We don't take from females. We don't harvest from females. I know some people that do, and that's fine. It's just my way I was taught. We use the fur, we use the meat, we use what we can on that bear, but we don't make a profit from it. So that's one of the things that we do not, because that's a female bear. She gives life. Yeah. So there's our jewel weed salve. We have big and small. I go out and I harvest that and I bring it back and I make salve. Dandelion root. Oh my God. People are killing their dandelions. I'm out hours. And it's amazing. It's for heartburn. It's for stomach upset. And you can make some amazing salad if you put it in with salad. It's so good. Comfrey leaf. It grows. It's a great big leaf like this. If you get a sprain and you're out in the woods, wrap that comfrey leaf around your ankle or wherever your sprain is, and it will take that. Yeah, it'll take the swelling and the inflammation away. Burdock root. Burdock is burrs. Yeah, that's all burdock is burrs. Those burrs that get on all your clothes.
Oh.
Yeah. So burdock root. It's a bladder for bladder and kidney infection.
Oh, cool.
Stinging nettle. So nettle tea. A lot of the elders use nettle tea. And I have one elder that comes all the time, and she grabs nettle tea, and I mean, you harvest it with gloves, and then you hang it upside down, let it get dry, and then you break it all up. Same with lavender. So blueberry tea. It's amazing. It's a vitamin C, and it's an antitoxin. Yeah, and it boosts the immune system. So, I mean, you always have blueberries. You and the bears. You can fight them for the blueberries.
What is a healing circle / smudging circle?
A healing circle / Okay, so when you hear circle, first of all, it's because we believe everything is in a circle. Nobody is above us. No, we're not above anybody. We're not below anybody. In a circle, we're all equal. So that's why we use a circle. A healing circle is when we sit and we talk and we do that healing, and we'll smudge first. So we'll smudge with all 4 medicines, or we'll smudge with whichever medicine we think at that time. It's normally sage that we smudge with.
Oh,
Okay.
It's normally sage that we'll smudge with, or the 4 medicines.
Okay.
Okay.
Her next question is, what is an Indigenous medicine wheel?
An Indigenous medicine wheel is, oh my God, you know, a medicine wheel has 1,000 different teachings. So, I mean, that's just, but a medicine wheel, think of the four men. So you have black man, red man, white man, yellow man. And within each of those is a medicine. There's an animal, there's a plant, there's when you can plant and when you can't, and when you can harvest and when you can't. The medicine wheel is so complex that to stand here and talk about it, we would be here for days and days and days.
That's what I figured.
It's got 1,000 different teachings with it. But just think of those 4: white man, black man, red man. Yellow man.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, and this last question. Aside from the 4 sacred medicines, how else do Indigenous people promote healing and wellness?
We try to lead a good life without drugs and alcohol.
Best way to do it. isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. That's what we try to do. We try to lead that good life. You know, we try to follow those 7 teachings. Now, those 7 teachings weren't ours. They were gifted to us from the Lakota. I'm told this is how I was taught. Same with that with that skirt, that the ribbon skirt. That was gifted to us through the Lakota. That teaching. And it's just, we wear those skirts because we can touch Mother Earth with them. And they represent a teepee, right? When you wear one. When I do ceremonies, I don't say you have to wear a ribbon skirt. Because I don't tell the men they have to wear one.
yeah, of course.
They don't have to wear a suit and tie. So I won't turn anybody away if they don't have a ribbon skirt on. It's not, you know. Unless it's a full moon ceremony, I'd like you to wear a skirt. Yeah, because it's women's, right?
Yeah.
That's that women's teachings. It's that women's time. So normally for other ceremonies, I don't say you have to. You have to, or you can't come.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for her
I
question.
have a question.
Yeah.
Do you mind? Sorry, is this too much? If you could go through like the 7 teachings quickly, like a brief.
Oh
7
my gosh!
What?
You want me to remember all
Oh,
those?
no.
The 7 grandfather teachings: love, honor, respect, bravery, humility. What am I missing?
I was just flipping through a...
No. That comes, okay. So we have love, honor, or respect, bravery. Oh, humility.
Wisdom?
Oh, come on, huh?
Wisdom?
Wisdom, and there's one more. Oh my gosh, see?
I'm putting
Put you on the
your
spot. We
toes.
put you on the
I'm
spot.
Yeah. Oh, they're right here. Humility,
okay.
love,
Oh.
respect, wisdom, honesty, courage. They call it
There you
courage.
go.
I call it bravery.
Same
And
thing,
truth.
right? Yeah.
And truth. So always live within those.
So how do you implement that into your daily living, I guess?
Well, you love.
Yeah.
Humility, you don't think you're any better than anybody else. Respect, you respect no matter what. You respect. So if you came in here and said, I know I have this and this and this. So, okay, I respect that you have that wisdom. Wisdom. You know, all of those things. And as you see, humility is the wolf.
Yeah.
Love is the eagle. Respect is the buffalo. Wisdom.
So kind of resemble.
Yeah. Sabe. People laugh when you say Sabe, you know, exists. They're like,
I don't. I
bear
am.
the turtle.
He is.
I am a very
Oh, yes.
firm believer.
He
in-
loves him.
Oh well, I am told that he lives. He's in Curve Lake, and people have
Really?
seen him, and people have felt him around.
I like
Yeah,
that. That
yeah,
was-
yeah. Oh, I believe. I
I
100%
absolutely do.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. The buffalo and
And the turtle's
truth.
Truth.
Yeah.
Because isn't the turtle the back of a turtle? Isn't there something with like a turtle and you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Like
a
So
the turtle has teachings.
there's a whole thing on the back of a turtle.
back of a turtle. There's teachings, but don't forget, it was the turtle. It's the turtle that holds up North America, which is Turtle Island.
Yeah.
There's, you know, the creation story. That's what I mean. Like the medicine wheel. It's so
It's
complex.
massive.
Of
yeah.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
of
you
course.
can go on and just on one color
Yeah,
alone,
exactly.
right? Because
Go-
there's your medicines and your animals and all your yeah.
Yeah, it
To,
covers
in order
everything.
to say, oh, so what are the teachings of the medicine? Well, you're going to be moving in for a few
Yeah,
months. Yeah.
Fair,
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
So,
Are there any other like healing practices or tools or anything that you could teach us about?
practicing and tools right now? I don't know what
Like
else
with
to
like
say.
eagle
this is-
fans and like other.
Oh, eagle fans.
Stuff like
Wow,
that?
Eagle fans are gifted. Those eagle feathers are gifted to you. You can't buy them.
Oh,
Don't.
no.
Even if somebody offers to
Yeah,
sell you one,
yeah.
that's bad medicine. That is bad medicine. Say no, thank you. I don't want it
Why is it considered bad medicine? Like, is it?
because you're paying
Okay,
for it.
yeah,
That's
okay,
a
so that's
so
because-
the
yeah,
eagle
okay, yeah.
is the closest thing we have to the Creator. He can fly the highest, and he takes those prayers up to the. So when we have a sacred fire, and that smoke that rises from the sacred fire, and all those prayers that we put into our medicine, when we put it in the sacred fire, the eagle takes it up to the Creator. Those not the medicines, our prayers, because the eagle can fly the highest. There's no bird that can fly higher than the eagle. We honor and respect that eagle because it's the closest animal to the Creator right now, right? So that's why you never buy an eagle feather.
Yeah.
You never, and you will know if somebody gives you an eagle feather. You'll know whether or not that's your eagle feather. You will know just by touching that feather whether or not it belongs to you. You know. Same with a drum. They say your first drum you should give away. You'll know if that drum belongs to you or not. It won't sound for you. When people make drums and I go to do drum teachings for the big drum. So every time you sit at that big drum and you have bad medicine in you, that spirit of that, because everything has spirit. Everything has spirit, and that drum has spirit. You're using deer skin. You're using the wood from a tree. It has spirit. So first you birth that drum and you honor that drum and you feast that drum. And when you sit at that drum, you make sure that everything inside of you is clear. And you're not sitting there with bad medicine in you. You are not sitting there with bad thoughts. I know when I make things, if I get frustrated, I set it down and I walk away because I don't want that medicine in that thing that I'm making. So I tell them, every time you sit at that drum and you hit that stick and you've got bad medicine in you, that spirit moves away. And pretty soon you're finding that drum doesn't sound good anymore and your voices don't sound good together at that drum. It's because that spirit is gone. It has moved away so far from that drum it's died. And there's no bringing it back. I don't care. But what some don't understand is they think it's the drum's fault. It's your fault. So they just keep making more and more drums. Oh, we're going to make a new drum because this one's not sounding good anymore. Well, why is it not sounding good? It sounded beautiful when you first made it and you birthed it. So who's been sitting at that drum that hasn't been healthy? Because it keeps moving away and away and away and away. And eventually it just dies. It doesn't come back. You cannot bring it back. It's a spirit. It's died. It's gone. So try to remember that when you put a pipe, or you're smoking a pipe, or you're touching something, that you do it with good intentions. Always do it with good intentions. And if I'm frustrated, I will not touch anything. Like, I won't work on anything. I won't drum. I won't do anything. I walk away. I calm down. I smudge, and then I come back and try again. And sometimes, I've got sore fingers from making mitts for the past week. They're all cut to pieces, and they're all dry, and they're cracking. And it's just, because I can't have oils on my hands when I'm making mitts. So I can't keep putting lotion and stuff on my hands so they get really dry. But I make sure that when I'm making those mitts, I'm doing it in good intention.
We learned so much from Kim, and it was so lovely being able to spend some time with her and learn more about Indigenous culture. Her shop is amazing and definitely worth the road trip. We're now going to go a little more in depth about the medicine wheel, because as Kim said, there are so many elements to each direction, color, and medicine associated within it.
The yellow of the medicine wheel represents many things: the east, the rising sun, springtime, and spirit. Its sacred medicine is tobacco. It was the first medicine and is used as an offering to connect to the Creator, spirits, Mother Earth, and other people. It is used in pipe ceremonies, where the smoke from the sacred pipe is offered to each of the four directions, the sky, and the earth. All people attending the ceremony are given a chance to blow smoke from the sacred pipe. Smoke from the pipe is generally not inhaled. Tobacco is also used as a gift to an elder for information, guidance, healing, and other medicines. The offering and acceptance of the gift is seen as a contract. It is also used while harvesting other sacred medicines. While harvesting, tobacco is sprinkled on the ground as a thank you to the Creator and Mother Earth for the sacred medicine. It also represents the beginning of life, and its animal is the eagle.
Red represents the southern portion of the wheel, and comes along with the warmth of the southern tides and falls in the summertime of the year, where one takes time to rejuvenate the soul and soak in the energy of the season. Many things are in bloom, and taking time to appreciate the abundance in natural plant life is important for the soul. The core medicine used at this time is cedar, which replenishes and re-energizes oneself. As the coming seasons are colder, cedar is especially important in combating disease. As Kim explains, it is the go-to for winding down after a hard day. With most everything in early youthful bloom in summer, one is meant to reflect on one's continued youth and appreciate where your soul derives its energies from. Many natural medicines are abundant, like cranberries on bushes and dandelions in fields, which go on to help digestive problems and cleanse the blood of toxins if used medicinally. It is also the time for the hunter to thrive, as the coyote that represents this time of year has many prey to choose from.
Black, which is west, represents the earth, the physical state, the evening for the time of day, autumn for the season, adult for the stage of life, and bear for the animal. So sage has actually been used for centuries to prepare for ceremonies and teachings. It is known to be a cleansing medicine that removes any negative energy that could be bothering you. Sage is often used, like I said, to cleanse an area, or even if you move into a new house and you want to make sure it's cleansed. It's known to have antimicrobial properties, which is used to get rid of infectious bacteria, molds, and viruses.
The white part of the medicine wheel represents the north direction. It also represents the nighttime, the winter season, elder stage of life, the deer, the mind, and the sacred medicine is sweetgrass, also called wingush. It is considered to be the hair of Mother Earth, and the 3 braid strands represent the mind, the body, and the soul. It's also used in braiding and basket making, and can be used to soothe sore throats, chafing, and infections. It is usually burned at the beginning of a ceremony to attract positive energies, and it is used in healing circles as it has a calming effect. We would like to say Chi Miigwech to Bright Light Woman for allowing us to learn from her, and Miigwech for watching our presentation.